Hey everybody, it's Jane Johnston and
I'm Sean Provencher, and we're the Briar Group. This
uh,
is your monthly market report for the month of August, reflecting on the statistics from July 2025.
so I think we should call this steady as she goes. What do you think?
Yeah, it's honestly it's been a nail biter watching this because the truth is I've been really nervous that sales were going to drop, and we just have been kind of chugging along, and that's exactly what we need to do right now.
Well, it's funny because I've been looking at three different categories, so housing, townhouses, and condos, and I'm seeing the same things. Very flat. I agree. We need to keep chugging along. I think what's happened is we've normalized after all the tariffs, and we're kind of like, yeah, been there, heard that. How many hundreds of days now? And we're kind of thinking we're going to survive.
The way I'm
So
looking at it is I think people have kind of just come to terms with the fact that if we might witness World War III, we might as well do it in a sweet house, right?
that's a terrible thing to say, but true. But true.
I think it's like everyone's so nervous and they're just like, okay, well, it's been like 6 months of nerves now. Time to just get on with my life, I guess. Like we'll see how things progress. But it's being reflected in the stats. We've seen a couple really healthy months rounding us into summer. And if people have been watching the past few reports, we've been consistently warning and nervous about the level of inventory that we're having. But as long as we keep picking up that inventory and absorbing it by having great sales months, well, we're going to pop right through this and get into the fall when normally things are busy anyways. And, we're going to have a really good year if that's the trajectory that we follow.
So let's just see what the overall stats were saying. The board came out with the statistics, and we had 680 properties sell in July. So 4.6% over, 650 properties sold in July 2024, and 10% down, though, over June. So we're down from last month in the total properties.
But hold on, you can't just skim past that because that's normal. It's summertime, right? Like people are taking their foot off the gas to go enjoy the cottage, the lake, the vacation. The kids are out of school, everyone's distracted. So that to me isn't an alarm bell.
No, I think and especially when you compare it to last year, we see that, well, we were down over last year 10%, but I really feel April and May were good. And in fact, when I look at the market, when I look at the average selling price, I see April and May were good. So what I'm feeling is what's happening. So that's good. My gut's telling me the right sort of thing.
Okay, what else do you see?
Sales of condos were increased by 5.6%, July 2024, and that was including 225 units sold. So that's good. And the average price for the condos were around 600,000. So we peaked in February of this year. We were up around 650. We've come down a bit in price, but if you look at it over the past 2 years, we were actually fairly steady around the 650 mark, or 600 mark. So we're doing well. We're doing well.
Yeah,
So
and again in this report we also see that we finished the month with 3,703 homes on the market. That's a lot of inventory. We had a good month for sales, so like the absorption rate equals out to about 5.5 months of inventory, which keeps us in safe, balanced territory. It's a little bit more than we finished up last month with. Last month, we had 5 months of inventory, so both the number of sales and the number of homes on the market were a little bit higher, but it balanced out a little bit better. Again, it's not really something that I think is going to lead to much. We've been really nervous that we would have a slow month in July or August, and that would kind of tip the scales to where there was just an imbalance between supply and demand. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think now is a great moment to shop.
well, it's funny when I agree with you, and I also agree we're in a natural lull in the market. So I was talking to another realtor the other day, and she was saying to her clients, just wait, don't list now. She's in Oak Bay. She was saying just wait till late August, early September, because there are a lot of people who are away right now, which is true.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I look at the sort of peaks and valleys of the market over the past 2 years, we peaked in May. We were at over 1,800 new listings. I was afraid we were going to really go up over like exponentially in numbers of listings, which we didn't. So we came down in new listings in June, which is very similar to last year. Our market looks very similar. The only difference is that July we were actually stronger than last year. So it looks good. I think we're going to have a good fall. What do you think?
I honestly agree with a couple big asterisks. Is the first one, and it's funny because my two asterisks kind of contradict each other. So you never know when the right time to list is, especially if you're selling something special and you're looking for that perfect buyer. So I'm sure that for the property your friend had going to market, that's probably the right choice. However, I think generically, I wouldn't tell sellers in general to wait, because we still are at that tipping point where, man, if we have a slow August, the balance between the amount of inventory and the amount of sales that take place could make it really feel like buyers are starting to hold the upper hand in negotiations. So I'm not telling sellers to wait, but the flip side to it is I also think now is a great moment to buy. My big bold proclamation right now is I think right now is the moment that if you were thinking about buying and you decided to wait, you'd probably look back on it and regret it, because I could see the fall market really picking up.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of pent-up demand. When I'm looking at the total sales and total listings, we're actually in a bit of a downward trend. Again, that's normal for this year. We'll probably bump up a bit in September, so there'll be more choice, but that's related to what's happening in our environment. So we have a lot of kids going back to school. We have people getting ready to list and sell their homes. And so we have an early spring, and then we have a fall market. And so I've heard from other people, and I do believe this true, that we're kind of in a normal, like a quote, normal market. This is how it felt in 2019 before COVID, actually.
Yeah, our seasonality is right back where it should be. And it was pretty good like that last year too. Getting into this year, I was scared that we were going to have another thing kind of throw us back into a tailspin. But it's followed the same general arc that we would expect, which is nice. It really helps people to have a bit of predictability when they're trying to plan and orchestrate all the logistics that come with this kind of thing, right? Like it really affects people's lives trying to move. So, and every little bit of predictability that we can give them really helps. And if we continue along, I absolutely agree. I think this fall we should see a really healthy market.
One thing I am noticing that's not related to our purview, but is still, I think, significant, is I think the rental market is pretty strong. I think it's getting stronger. So I have some clients who are thinking of selling, and they all have rentals in there. Some are signing long-term, some are signing short-term. I personally find it hard to sell long-term rentals simply because people want to move into the place. But, they're all getting clientele, and I have a rental in Shawnigan, and I've had 3 applicants. So, last year I was really struggling to find somebody. This year I've got 3 great applicants, so I'm feeling good. And I also noticed, like, even today, I went to one of the realtors was selling off her staging equipment, and I noticed that there were lots of realtors eager to buy this stuff. So there's a lot of optimism out there in the market, I think. And I think we are a bit cushioned by our geography. I think the weather, the government, and our education institutions kind of cushion us against other stuff happening elsewhere in Canada. What do you think?
I also think so. A couple other things about Victoria that I always mention when people ask why we follow less of a dramatic curve than other similarly priced markets like Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver, stuff like that. I also just think that people who move here they don't move here to get a job. They don't come here for work. People move here for lifestyle, and for someone to do that, it really shows like what their value alignment is. And those people aren't going to make, you know, impulsive decisions about their housing, about their life, where they live, based on political or market forces. I think that we kind of bounce past a lot of that stuff because we're just like, like literally and also kind of in a figurative way, like we're on our little island here, and you know what? Doesn't stop me from jumping in a lake, and that's kind of the mindset I think a lot of people have in Victoria.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But you were talking about optimism, and that is a market force that like we don't have stats on, that people don't really like, you can't measure it, but it's so important. And it's one of those things you start to just kind of see it in the way that people show up to open houses, the number of viewings. Like you were saying, like realtors making investments in their businesses, it shows a greater trend of like where the mindset of buyers in our city are, and that's huge.
Well, I think that who you pick as your realtor is really important because they have to match your values. So if you're an optimistic person, pick an optimistic realtor and you'll do well. If you're a pessimist and you pick a pessimistic realtor, you know, you might have a bit of a harder time because you're going to go in, you're going to be really critical of what you're seeing.
Yeah.
So, but I do find the core group of realtors here are very optimistic, and I think that, I think it's going to be a good year.
That's my prediction as well. And if you're thinking about doing something before the end of this year, now's the time to call us, guys. Like, it's August. I know it seems early, but if you're planning to shop, it takes time to get ready. If you're planning to list, having a bit of runway ahead of you to do a little bit of prep could really impact the value that you are able to extract from your home when you sell it. So it sounds crazy, but starting 3 or 4 months before when you hope to move is kind of the minimum, and the end of the year is going to come up soon. So reach out to us, even if you just have a question, you want to know how the market is going to be reflected in your specific area or your specific type of housing. If you want an evaluation on your home, like now's the time to kind of put that groundwork in place. Even if you're not sure, we're happy to have a conversation and help you figure out what's next.
Yeah, I just want to say, here's a trick.
Okay.
Get your social media, your photos, your floor plan, and your videos done now while the weather's nice, so that in the middle of the winter, when everyone else is showing pictures of snow on the lawn, you will not be in the same boat. You will show a fresh listing. They will see the potential of your garden, and it will be brilliant. So plan ahead, connect with us, and we can get you going.
Awesome. All right, well, Jane, how do people reach you?
You can reach me at my favorite email, briarhillgroup@gmail.com. We're both on the briarhillgroup.com website, and my phone number is 250-744-0775. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We have an awesome account. It's called Briar Hill Group. How do people reach you, Sean?
You know, you can call or text me. I love just having an old school conversation, like actually speaking to people. 250-589-4166. Find me on social media, sean.p.victoria on all platforms. And again, follow the Briar Hill Group. We're putting all kinds of fun stuff together, so we'd love you to be part of that as well.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so we'll see you next month.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.